If your team got guaranteed money, tell them call me.
Whoop. Make me say, my. I done been around the world.
Yeah, I was made for this.
Player Performance with J.A. Cavalier.
Good morning, everybody. We are back for the final regular season week in the NFL. Been an electric week for the Gunz, and we are talking some NFL action to close it out. Now, we have to be careful because it gets a little bit tricky where we're dealing with the last week, but we are going to give you our takes and our looks. Nonetheless, I am Gunz, joined, as always, with my guy, Coach Rick. What's going on?
Big night tonight for the hometown Steelers. We'll talk about that one at the end. Yesterday, I don't know how you did. I did okay, but the Tampa Bay game, just god dang. I played 2.5. Probably should have played 2. I didn't realize it, but oh well. Then we came back, and the Seahawks, of course, took care of business. I think we were all on that one. So Let's see what we can pull out today, huh?
Yep. I think the bigger plays did hit for me. I think I gave a little bit back to the books because of the props and some chicanery that happened as far as like the total in the Seattle game. I mean, I could bitch, piss, and moan about like what shoulda, woulda, coulda happened. Felt like I was on the right side of stuff, but I mean, college football for the both of us. I mean, we've just been absolutely murdering college football, but I mean, this isn't a college football show. We will talk about that one when we get to the semifinals show that is coming up later in the week. We're here to talk about the NFL, and we're going to bounce back. We gave a little bit back to the books. We just gave them a little taste. It's almost like tipping your waiter yesterday, but we are going to get some bigger games, bigger implications. And speaking of bigger implications, let's go to the first game on the board here with New Orleans going against Atlanta at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. 1 p.m. is going to be kicked. Yes, these two teams are not in the playoffs. However, there is one team that is rooting for a side and the other team that is rooting for the side for the crown in the NFC South. So, do you think that these teams are playing this like a playoff game, or do you think these teams are looking towards their tea time on Monday? I'll pass it to you, Coach Rick.
Yeah, Jay Money just bringing it up, man. Yeah, that blocked field goal was goddamn.
Oh, that.
Oh, yeah, I was that just yeah. Anyway, we learn, right? We never lose. We just learn, right? And then we move on. So we move on to this game. It's funny. It reminds me of the ACC championship game, right? So Duke and Virginia play, and Duke happens to win, and then Miami goes to the playoffs. So. You mentioned it. The Falcons win. I believe a Falcons win sends Carolina to the playoffs. A Saints win, and Tampa Bay, who pulled out a win yesterday, gets the victory. Saints, I mean, they're playing well, right? 5 of their last 7. They've won 3 of their last 4 division games. But when you look at it, like they've won 4 in a row. But you look at the 4 wins. I mean, they beat Tampa Bay, who was in a free fall. They beat Carolina. Yeah, okay. And then the Jets and Tennessee. So I can go back and forth. Like I can find some reasons to back New Orleans because the number's 3.5. But I could see Atlanta winning this game easily, just pounding the ball with Bijan Robinson. And Atlanta's beaten them twice in a row at home, and they covered both those games. So then you look at the Saints. The Saints are actually top, 10 or 12 in DVOA and EPA over the last, 2 months. So they've been playing well. I can't get anywhere on this game.
Yeah. We said Southpaw Sports Pick says flip a coin on this one. You have to think this is a weird game. I don't think I remember seeing a game like this where you have 2 teams that are playing for their other teams in their division. I like to get into the playoffs. It's like, and people go, oh, these teams are going to be motivated. It's like for their divisional opponents. I don't think that's the case. I looked at the prop market, and I saw my guy, Notre Dame guy, Audric Estimate, is going to be the main running back there for the New Orleans Saints. Now, if you don't know who Audric Estime is, I will tell you, he is one of the best running backs in terms of statistical categories in the history of Notre Dame, including Ivan Williams, including Jeremiah Love. They are in the same category. This is the guy that I felt started. We're going to see this guy come into fruition today against Atlanta. I popped there. I popped there. I think he got traded or signed with I don't know why that guy doesn't break. He is a downhill runner, and he can run big plays. He has speed. He is big. I'm telling you, I like this play. I like how he has to make every which way on the overhead rushing attempt. That's the way I'm playing. I do have taken the side and I'm going to get the VIP, so sign up for $9 today, and I will have access to that today. So,
Check your mic.
Yeah, check. I don't know.
There you go. You might want to move closer.
Bad. All right, so there's people saying my audio is bad, but maybe it's just John too. So no audio from Juan. A little too far. Is that better?
There you go.
All right. Anyways, I'm just gonna keep talking. See private chat here. It's good now. Okay. All right. Let's go to the next play. I'm sorry. Audric Estime overs. A little bit distracted here on a beautiful Sunday. Let's go to the next play here. Let's go to some AFC North action with the Cleveland Browns going against the Cincinnati Bengals. And this is going to be at Paycor Stadium. And yes, these teams have nothing to play for. They may be playing for incentives. They may be playing for, respect in the division. But Cincinnati had to play very hurt this year. Burrow. And, of course, the Cleveland Browns altogether. So this is going to be an electric game in some cases. I do have a take on the total, but I'll pass it to you, Coach Rick. What do you think?
H-Town legend, you're a good man, buddy. Hit the like button. I like it.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, just, hit the like button. Just, give us some love. This is another turd of a game where you can say, well, I like this or that. When I at first glance it was like, maybe I look at the Bengals team total, but nah, I can't get there. The only thing I would take a look at in this game is Myles Garrett. And especially because he's done so well against Cincinnati. So they're John Doe right there, over 1.5 sacks, breaks the record, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, 100%. So in 13 games against the Bengals, he has at least a half a sack in 11 of 13 games. The problem with taking him to get over half a sack is it's priced at like minus 300. So take him. You mentioned John Doe mentions 1.5. You can actually get 1.25. And 1.25 is about plus 140, plus 145. He's actually gone over that in 6 out of 16 games. And he's had, like I said, he's had at least half a sack in 11 of the 13 games against the Bengals. He's actually had a sack in all 6 of the road games that he's played at Cincinnati. So if again, I can't find a side total. I think Gunz, you mentioned you have a total, but if I'm doing anything here, I'm going to play Garrett, who can break that sack record today.
Yeah, I mean, Garrett's is a sack machine, and I think that'll be kind of historic and kind of give this flavor for Week 18. So I don't hate that look at all. But when I look at these two teams, I'm like, we have Cincinnati coming off 2 commanding wins against Arizona and Miami, putting up 45 and 37 points in those games. And then Cleveland coming off a big divisional win against your Steelers. Unfortunately, it made this game against the Ravens a playoff game in some situations. So good for football, bad for coach. But Cleveland has struggled on the road. They have a minus 14-point differential. They've been outgained by 43 points on the road. They are 1-6 straight up, 8 TS on the road this year. But you have a Cincinnati team that is played better when Joe Burrow is back. They put up 32 points or more per game in 4 out of the last 5 games. They're 3-2 straight up. But one of those losses was that big, they had a huge lead against Buffalo, and they let it go to the wayside. In the first meeting, when you looked at these two teams, it was 17-16, 4.5-point road favorite. Cincinnati was in that game. Now you've seen them as 7.5-point or 8-point home favorite in this one. Lower total, though, which I thought was enticing. And I've given you a lot of stats of why you should take the over. However, I think this is more of an underplay because Cincinnati is 5-2 to the under in the last 7 games, 5-1 and 5-1 ATS in that stand. And this is the lowest total we've seen in a Cincinnati Bengals game since October. And you have Cincinnati that's coming off 3 straight home unders, all of them over 50. Now they've dropped the line basically on the fact that Cleveland can't score. So maybe it could be a lopsided type of situational game. Maybe Cincinnati kind of ends the year right. I don't want to take the spread, though. I think the under is more enticing to me. So if I'm going to take this game, I'm going to be taking Cleveland, Cincinnati under the total. And I know that's a little bit risky, but it's week 18. Things go bad. Like I said on Telegram yesterday, defenses forget to play good defenses forget how to play defense, and good offenses forget how to play offense. That's how we're going to be looking at this game, especially in week 18. It is very bowl-esque in college, like college football. So I'm going to be taking the under Cleveland, Cincinnati. All right, next game on the board, we're going to be looking at the Packers going on the road to go face the Minnesota Vikings. A Minnesota Vikings team that is playing very well on the defensive side of the ball at US Bank. And you have a Green Bay team that, they have nothing to play for. Jordan Love's not going to be playing this game. They are going to go with one of the backups, and we know who that backup is. I'll let Coach talk about that one. And, of course, I think there's going to be limited snaps here for Josh Jacobs and Christian Watson. So I'll pass it to you, Coach Rick. What do you think about this game?
Yeah, I'll go back for just one moment. Martin Olvera, he mentioned Hard Rock shows Garrett over 1.5 sacks at plus 125. I don't know if you can get DraftKings. I don't know if that's available where you're at, but over 1.25 sacks, it's now down to it's plus 132 at DraftKings. Over 1.5 is plus 177. I don't know if you can get that or not, but just figured I'd mention it. As far as this game goes, yeah, you mentioned the QB. My boy Tommy Two-Tone, Clayton out of tune.
Wait, I didn't want to give you. I want to give you the spotlight on our boy Clayton Tune.
Yeah, the tune. Yeah, tune a piano. You can tune a piano, but you can't tune a fish. Of course, that could be the Coach Rick trivia of the day. Who came out with the album. You can tune a piano, but you can't tune a fish. But yeah, Clayton Tune starts for Green Bay, and you mentioned it. Starters, half of them probably won't play. If they do, they're limited. And he's going to go up against a Brian Flores defense. So it's funny, if you look at the last 2 road games when Green Bay went to Minnesota, they scored 25 and 33 points. But Clayton out of tune, he ain't getting that, man. So interception, I think if I remember right, I looked up. I don't even know if you can get tuned for an interception. Let's check that live right here. Because that would be, they're going to blitz the heck out of them. And, oh, yeah, we can. All right, Clayton Tune, over a half intercept. So to throw 1 interception, a little juicy, though, it's minus 195. So, of course, yeah, that, if you want to take that, fine. If not, whatever. The better look, I think, is just simply the Green Bay isn't going to score. How are they going to move the ball against this Brian Flores defense? So if you look at the Packers team total, I think it opened at 14.5, but that's at minus 170 or so now. If you like that, great, because it covers that key number of 14. 13.5, and I've seen 12.5 at some point. I don't really care what it is. I mean, it's going to be hard for them to score 10 points. For me, it's a Packers team total under.
Yep. Jay Money in the chat actually bringing some heat. He said Tommy Two-Tone. If you remember the 80s, he's an old soul. I know that dude. And don't forget Altoon. Another but spelled different. I think he had like 98 concussions when he was a wide receiver for the Jets.
Yeah.
But when I look at this game, it's hard. Green Bay has nothing to play for. I mean, Green Bay is pretty much in a situation that, like, it doesn't matter what their seating is going to be at the end of the day. They're going to be where they're at, right? And Jordan Love giving him some rest is probably the appropriate thing to do. And I did mention when I did the intro, Josh Jacobs and Christian Watson, if they are playing in this game, we'll get limited reps on this one. And I just think this Minnesota team is going to come out swinging. Even though they are missing their running back, Aaron Jones, I think the backups are sufficient in this game. And of course, the line swing is egregious between game 1 and game 2, but it has to do with a lot with the roster changes on this one. And I think Jay Money in the chat brought up a take on this one. Under 36 total points in this game. I tend to lean this way, but I feel like I'm playing a preseason game when I'm looking at this situation from a prop perspective, from a side perspective, from a total perspective. I do not want to go jump into games where I feel like these teams, this game really doesn't matter for either side. But the way that Minnesota's playing and how aggressive the line is, I do think Minnesota does win this game, but I think it's going to be a low-scoring affair here, and Packers are just looking for the next game. And that's the way we're going to be looking at this, because we're going to the next game. We're going to be talking about, of course, our producer, Burnsy's team on this one, with Dallas going on the road in MetLife to go face the New York Football Giants in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Now, this game doesn't matter to either side, but I think that when we look at the NFC East, there's bragging rights when you win conference games. I think it's meaningful between these two teams, and I do have a take on the total. Because pretty much I'm playing totals except for sides because I'm scared of sides on this game. But maybe Coach Rick has a take on the side. Maybe he has a kicker that he likes in this game. But I'll pass it to you, Coach. What do you think?
No, you mentioned the total. It's all over everything, right? So I don't know most of you out there, you seem like you guys are pretty tuned in. And I played this last week and a bunch of times this season, but the first half over in Dallas games, it's 15-1. So that, obviously that's a great look. The Giants, you might not, think highly of the Giants, but they can put up some points. Jackson Dart, he can do some things. Actually in games where Dart has played this season, the full game over is 7-2. So I do like the first half over. I like Dallas's team total over. We've played that a ton. It's 26.5. They've hit that 9 out of 16 games. They average over 28 a game. The Giants' defense is nothing special. I think they're 26th or 27th in points allowed per game. As far as the side, I don't have a take on the side, but the Cowboys have beaten them 8 or 9 times in a row or so. I don't know. Since 2017, 16-1 straight up, and I think it's 7-1 straight up on the road. So for me, it's Dallas's team total over, and I like the first half over in this one.
Yeah, see guys in the chat talking about who's playing, who's not playing. I looked at the opt-outs, or I hate calling them opt-outs because I'm getting in the college brain, but guys sitting out, starters. There's no sit-outs in this game. This is a true meaningful, let's finish the season strong type of game. And Coach beat me to it. I have this in my notes, and I agree with Coach. I think Dallas team total over is the way to play this game, and I think when we look at the Giants on this one, they played a lot of good offenses, so we have a good sample size of how the Giants defense performs against good defenses. They gave up 33 points to Denver. They gave up 38 points to Philly, and you can say what you want about Philly's defense. Offense. They put up 38 points against this Giants team. And of course, you have 34 points against San Francisco, 24 points against Chicago, 27 points against Green Bay, 34 points against Detroit, 33 points given up to New England and 29 points given up to Washington. So this team gives up points. And of course, you're dealing with a Dallas offense that's ranked 4th in scoring, averaging 28 points per game. Yes. I mean, I think this is going to go over any sort of points as far as the team total goes there for Dallas. Even if it hits 30, I would still take it at that one. I think Dallas does get over 30 here today. So that way I'm going to be playing this game today, and it'll be a VIP. Dallas team total over is the way I'm going to be playing this one. All right, next game on the board here. Oh, this is electric. We have the Tennessee Titans going on the road to go face Jacksonville Jaguars. And yes, Jacksonville has something to play for. They have to win, and then they have things to happen. Of course, New England has to lose. Denver has to lose, and I think they get the number 1 seed. And they're still playing for the AFC South as well. I don't think they've even clinched the conference. Of course, if they lose this game, Houston has a shot to win the conference. So, yes, Jacksonville's going to be playing people today, regardless of what happens in this one. I do have some takes here, but I'll pass it to you, Coach Rick. What do you think?
Yeah, you mentioned it. It's interesting that Tennessee can still be the 1, 2, 3, 5, or 6 seed, depending on what happens today. So yeah, I mean, everybody's playing here. The first look, right at first glance, I always look at teams that score. I'm going to look at the team total, and Jacksonville, a team like Dallas, 12-4 over their team total this season. Their team total set at 30.5. I'm not there yet. They've hit that in 3 of their last 4 games, and obviously Trevor Lawrence has been playing lights out. Tennessee, defensively not the greatest, but in this series, it's the last few games have been more lower scoring. So I'm not on Jacksonville's team total yet. Don't like the number. I'm not, I don't want to touch the spread, but Tennessee's offense, I think you mentioned it last week or whenever we were on last about how their offense is scoring points.
Yes.
Which that's kind of why, the spreads is kind of like, because they've put up 26, 26, 24, and 31.
Yep.
However, I mean, this is a Jacksonville defense pretty damn good. And Cam Ward's played pretty well. Like his last 2 games, he's gone over 225 yards, I believe, in each game. But they have to be able to run the football, and that's something they're not going to do against Jacksonville. Jacksonville leads the NFL, 80 yards a game or something. No running back has rushed for more than 75 yards against Jacksonville. So, I say all that, and it's like, well, again, I don't know where I'm at, but of course I have to mention
my guy. No, your guy.
I got to mention my guy. Yeah. I mean, you have to, Tennessee, they have issues scoring, but they've scored points over the last few weeks. Hey, guess who, kicks field goals for Tennessee, right? And he's attempted quite a few over the season, and he is plus money to go over 1.5 field goals. So, I got to sprinkle something on him. Joey Sly over 1.5 field goals. That was plus 120 earlier this morning.
Yeah, you got to make up for what Myers did yesterday, missing bunnies. But I look at this game like I said. I said it last week. I was like, Tennessee can put up points now. I was like, this is a Tennessee team that found something on the offensive side of the ball. They're 2-2 straight up in their last 4 games. As terrible as this team has been all season, they've kind of found something on the offensive side of the ball. But they're going against the Jacksonville team that is playing for a number 1 seed. There's so many variances of what happens in this game that can affect where the seeding is for Jacksonville. I think they're going to play very hard in this game. They have a 7-game win streak, and they're fighting for a 1 seed. And this is a team that beat Denver on the road and beat them handily. I was like, so this is a team coming in red hot. Last time these teams met in November, Jacksonville won 25-3, but they were 6-point road favorites. Now you're seeing them as a high favorite, but that makes sense with what the implications are in this game. The total was 42.5, did go under. Now we're seeing a higher total here at 47.5 on a 13.5 point line. Jacksonville is 6-0-1. ATS is a favorite this year, and they're 1-0 as a double-digit favorite, and that game was against the Jets. They beat them by 28 points. I believe the game did go over in that situation. Of course, Tennessee is 1-2. ATS is a double-digit dog this year, but they're 3-0 to the over, giving up 30 points or more to their opponents in those positions when they're a double-digit dog. This is why I like the team total here for Jacksonville. Tennessee did find some scoring, 24 points or more in 4 straight games. So maybe we're going to be looking at team total over for both teams. But I think the Jacksonville side is more enticing to me. Because Jacksonville has scored 30 or more in 3 out of the last 4 games. And against this Tennessee defense, they're going to give up points. Even in those games where Tennessee has scored points, their opponents have scored points. So I think this is going to be a good spot here to take Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville is going to play this game very hard because all the teams that they need to lose are flexed to the 425 game. So we're looking at positioning here. We have a very good situation with a team with 1 seed implications playing at 1 o'clock. Everybody else is playing at 425, the Patriots and Denver. So I think we can take some advantage of a team that is going to play motivated, strong, and score points. I think we like Jacksonville team total over. That's how I'm going to be playing this game. And of course, Coach loves kicker props. We'll let him go with that one. All right, let's go to the next game on the board here. Let's go with a game that, I think the Texans have something to play for. They're still trying to win the AFC South. We have the Colts going against the Texans here at NRG in Houston, Texas. 1 p.m. is going to be the kick. It is the last 1 p.m. game that we're going to be talking about here. And then we go into the 425s. But Houston on an 8-game win streak, red hot. Defense is one of the best, if not the best, in the NFL right now is at the way they're playing. We have an Indianapolis team that is on a 6-game losing streak and playing one of my old quarterbacks, Riley Leonard. I'll pass to you, Coach. What do you think about this one?
It's another game that, I kind of just passed over. But I'll tell you, I know I bring up kickers a lot, but this is one where you have to take a look at Fairbairn from Houston. Houston struggles in the red zone, and Fairbairn's attempted I think the 3rd or 4th most field goals in the NFL. So right now for me, I'm looking at him, and you can. I mean, if you want the numbers, like this dude has kicked at least 2 field goals in 13 out of 14 games he's played in, and I believe it's 11 straight. So again, Houston, they drive the football, they'll get down close, but they don't convert TDs. And this guy kicks a lot of field goals. It's minus 155 right now at Hard Rock, but that's my look in this game right now.
I want to shout out my guy, Razor Sharp Picks. If you don't know who this guy is, go follow him on X. This dude is absolutely electric. One of the sharpest brains on the planet in multiple sports. Go follow my guy there. But I look at this game as a complete pass. But I'll give you some statistics on this one because I did write some notes. You have a Houston team that's on an 8-game win streak. They're in a position right now that they don't control their own destiny. It's basically if Jacksonville wins this game and they're playing the Tennessee Titans, they have nothing to look forward to. But they are playing at 1 p.m., so they still could play motivated, at least in the first half. And they're going against an Indianapolis team that is just beaten and battered and just wants to get to the end of the season. They're out of the playoffs. A team that everybody thought was going to be one of the better AFC teams just fell off the map due to injuries and what have you. It was a complete fall from grace. But you have Riley Leonard. At least we have some stats on him. He played against Jacksonville. He was 18 for 29, 62% pass completion rate, 0 touchdowns, 1 INT. And I know Riley Leonard better than anybody. This guy hates to pass. He loves to run. But he hasn't had a lot of rushing statistics to give me that indication that he wants to be a runner anymore. Indianapolis is 1-3 ATS in their last 4 road games. They're 3-1 to the under. Lowest road total of the year for Indianapolis. Makes sense because there's so much turnover. But I'm passing on this game. I know they're playing a Houston team and the spread is high on this one, but this is not a game that is enticing to me. I'm not sure where the motivation is going to be held on this one. Are we looking towards what's going to happen in the next game in the playoffs? We don't know obviously Houston doesn't know who their opponent is going to be at this point. But I think they play probably a little moderately hard early, and they just don't want to risk injury with the starting roster in this one. So just a complete pass. This is one of those games in week 18. We just got to say, I'm going to the next one. And speaking of the next one, let's talk about the next one. Let's talk about the New York Football Jets going against the Buffalo Bills. This is an enticing game, even though that Buffalo really doesn't have much to play for, because this is the last game that we get to see in Highmark Stadium. Potentially. We'll see how the seeding ends on this one. They may get a playoff game at home. We'll see. But this is probably the last game we're going to be seeing before they go into the new stadium. And I think what happened last week is a motivational factor for Buffalo to come out here swinging against this New York Jets team that we saw against the New England Patriots basically give up. And I don't see there's any love, hope in this team. I do have a take on this one. I'll pass it to you, Coach Rick. What do you think?
Well, the interesting thing, and I think somebody mentioned in the chat, is Josh Allen. Everything says he's playing. The question is going to be how long, because if you look, you can't bet any Josh Allen props. So he's probably, maybe it's a quarter, a half, I don't know. So the deal goes like this: if the Chargers lose and Buffalo wins, they move up to the number 6 seed, and then they're going to play Jacksonville rather than probably play New England, right? So probably in Buffalo's best interest to put forth an effort to win this game. The way it goes, like the perfect script in this game for Buffalo would be, hey, let's get up early, right? And somebody just mentioned Josh Allen has that streak. He's got to start, 135 games or something. He wants to keep that streak alive. So, yeah, maybe it is one snap. I don't know. But I think the perfect script for Buffalo is, hey, look, New York blows. Let's get up early and let's get Josh Allen out of the game and even some of these other starters so we can rest them and get ready for the playoffs. So, the best take in this game, I think, just because the numbers there is Buffalo in the first quarter. You can get -2.5. So they they start fast. I mean, you're ready to blow a nut, right?
You know where I'm going.
Love it.
You know where I'm going.
Yeah, that's and then it's funny because I mentioned there's no Josh Allen prop. Somebody said you can't. I don't know what they see.
No, there's games that you can't get props. Yeah.
Okay, I haven't seen it. I didn't see any passing type prop because I would have taken 100% Josh Allen not to throw an interception, because the Jets, if they don't pick a ball off this season, they'll become the first team in NFL history to go through a 17-game season and not have an interception. Like, that's how bad they are. I mean, you can't get one pick. Jesus.
Yep.
Anyway, final home game in Highmark Stadium. I remember when it was Rich Stadium. Actually coached a playoff game in the New York State playoffs in Rich Stadium. Great venue. If you haven't been to Buffalo, like, I'm not a Bills fan, but man, it's a great place to go see a football game. Those people are nuts. But anyway, best look, Buffalo -2.5 in the first quarter, and then I think they go on to win.
Yeah, Swords in the chat says Bills horrendous in the first half. We're not looking.
They are. They're not good in the first half. They start, but they have to be today. Like I said, that's the perfect script today is for them to come out and play hard early so they can take a lead, get Josh Allen out of the game.
Yeah. And Soares says team total under on this one. I don't disagree with you on this one, but here's the thing. You got to think about motivation. It's almost like looking at college bowls. It's like, regardless of the situation for Buffalo, they don't have to play anybody. I don't even care if the backup. I don't care if there is some fat idiot that is a season ticket holder for, he's been to 1,000 Highmark Stadium games and thrown snow in the air and said, let's go Buffalo 1,000,000 times. If he's the quarterback, I'm still going to be taking Buffalo -2.5 in the first quarter. I think that is the best look in this game. That's where you're going to get majority of your starters, at least playing in the first quarter. I know pulling Josh Allen is enticing, but I think coming off that loss, where they lost to Philly on a 2-point conversion. There's got to be a motivational factor for not only the team themselves, but the fans coming off that deflating loss. I think there's going to be something that's going to happen in the first quarter in this game. And I think there's going to be an initial drive, score, and then we don't have to worry about the Jets scoring because the Jets don't score at all. The New York Jets have scored 20 points or less in the last 4 road games and 6 out of the last 7 overall. I'm not worried about the Jets scoring. I just need one touchdown from the Buffalo, and I think if it's going to happen, it's going to happen in the first quarter, and you get -2.5. Even if it's not a touchdown and they get a field goal, I still feel safe. And I think that's going to be the high point on this one. I don't play quarters a lot, virtually ever. And I'm saying this is going to be a perfect spot to take a first quarter here with the Buffalo Bills. Cut this game into quarters and do the first quarter and then go to the next game. And speaking of the next game, let's talk about this one in the NFC North. Going with the Detroit Lions playing the Chicago Bears at Soldier Field in Chicago, Illinois. 4:25 East is the kick on this one. And you have a Detroit team that is not going to be in the playoffs. They're 1-4 straight up in their last 5 games. And you have a Chicago team coming off a loss, but they're 7-2 straight up in their last 9 games. Chicago is holding their 2 seed right in their hands. The controller of their own destiny. They win this game, they get the 2 seed. Does this Chicago team have the gusto to win this game to get the 2 seed, or they're going to rest starters this one? I'll pass it to you, Coach. What do you think?
I don't think they'll rest starters. The thing here in Detroit, that was the big talk all week, talk radio. Well, they're going to rest Goff. They're going to rest all these guys. No, they're not. They're going to play because that's Dan Campbell, right? Like, we're going to go play and, bite kneecaps, as he says. But Chicago does need this win to take the number 2 seed. Can they get it? Sure. Yeah, they can. You know what? Detroit could beat them too. So I'm not on a side, but I really like some totals here. So if you look at the team totals for both teams, Detroit's is set around 23.5, 24.5. You got the Bears at 26.5, 27.5. And if you remember the first game they played this season, 51-22. And I'm sure Jared Goff, I know he doesn't play, you can talk about, he doesn't play well outside, blah, blah, blah. Well, then why are the Bears only favored by what, 3.5?
Yes.
I mean, I just think he plays well, even though it's outdoors. The total, it's up to 50.5, right? If you like the full game total, hey, take it. Again, I'm going to go, and I'm going to go off the board with the bet that I like and win a lot. But with both these team totals in that mid-20 range, you can get both teams to score 20 plus, and it's -126 at DraftKings. So, why not sprinkle a little bit on that if you like the full game over, which, at 50.5, I think I like that as well. Remember, Detroit's defense, they give up a ton of points. I think it's 22 or 23 or more in 8 of their last 9 games. So this could end up being a track meet, even though it's outdoors.
Yep. I think Coach beat me to it. I mean, it's ridiculous. We don't talk before the show, and I'm looking at my notes, and I said over. This is an over game. All right. We saw what the first matchup was in this one, 52-21, 6-point home favorites. Detroit was. Now we're seeing them as 3.5-point dogs. Typically in that line swing, I would be like, okay, yeah, take the Bears. But it's very different in week 18. I think totals are probably the way to go. And mind you, the first time these two teams met, the total was 46. Now it's 50.5. Over 50 is a key number on this one. And Detroit has not performed well in the dog roll. They are 1-4 ATS in those positions. So maybe you do look towards the Chicago side because Chicago was 5-2 ATS at home, 6 straight and have won 6 straight home games straight up. But you have the highest total at home for Chicago in this game. They're also 2-1 to the over when the total is 50 or more this year. I think this is going to be more of an overtake on this one, and I think we're going to see two teams try. including Chicago, because they want that 2 seed. But I think there's something in Dan Campbell going against his predecessor in Ben Johnson that he wants to go out there and just spank him and make him his proverbial son. And I mean, 52-21 was embarrassing for Ben Johnson, but I think this is a different Chicago team today, and I think they're going to compete after that loss against the San Francisco 49ers in dramatic fashion. I think we're going to see a high-scoring game, knowing that the Chicago defense is terrible. Detroit defense, not great as well, but we have two electric offenses that are going to work there at Soldier Field. Give me the over all day long. Let's go to the next game here in the AFC West. We have the Los Angeles Chargers going against the Broncos. And yes, Justin Herbert is not going to be playing this game. We're going to be dealing with a quarterback that wants to build a resume in Trey Lance. And of course, Denver has implications on the line because when they get the 1 seed, they are sitting in the driver's seat right now, controlling their own destiny. But I think this Charger team may have some fight, even though they are resting starters and have nothing to play for, looking to get to the next week to go play the playoffs. But, Coach, I'll pass it to you. What do you think?
Trey Lance built, yeah. I mean, I think he does okay. But I mean, is anyone going to play Denver laying 14? Like they don't cover, right? They don't cover. They don't cover as a favorite. I think they're 2-9 against the spread as a favorite, and all their wins are like, most of them are what, 3-4 points or less. Now, can Trey Lance, lead the Chargers offense to score some points? Well, I think he can. But for me, there's only one way to go in this game, right? One, that's it. Back the best kicker in football.
Let's go.
And it's unbelievable that it's plus 110 for Cameron Dicker to go over 1.5 field goals.
It's in Denver.
Plus 110, yeah,
90-yard field goals.
I don't know. I mean, he's done it in 11 of 16 games. They struggle a little bit in the red zone. But you got to back that, right? Especially against the Denver defense, it's really damn good, right? And they're playing all their starters. So, if Trey Lance can move them a little bit, they get into, get in the red zone, you stall out, and boom, Dicker comes in and, does his thing. Same thing on the other side, though. I'm not there yet, but I would look at Will Lutz to go do the same thing over 1.5.
Oh, double kicker?
Yeah, and we might get a little parlay. We'll see what happens.
Let's do it.
But, he's only done it in 8 out of 16 games, but I think he's done it in the last 2. For me, I'd have to look again. But he's definitely done it in the last 2 against the Chargers. So I think that's for what it's worth. I'm not official on that. The other thing I looked at is just because it's Trey Lance's first start, it's against the Denver defense that's really good that can get after the quarterback, is Lance to throw a pick. They can probably throw something at him that would force him into a bad situation. And guys that haven't played a lot tend to make bad situations worse. That's one of my quarterback commandments that I talk about with QBs all the time. Never make a bad situation worse. So I actually said it last night. I don't know if anybody remembers, but Sam Darnold, he took the snap from under center. He stepped back. He was going to hand off to, I think it was Charbonnet, and his feet got tangled up with the center, and he started to go down, but he tried to hand the ball off to Charbonnet anyway, and they end up with a mishandled football. That's a bad situation that Sam Darnold made worse by trying to hand the ball off. So situations like this, I think Trey Lance, gets into one of those and throws a pick. So I think that was minus 140 or so. So I do like that look, and I do like Cameron Dicker right now. Maybe we'll get to Will Lutz. We'll see.
I will preface this take as this will not make my VIP card. Okay. I think Trey Lance is underrated. I think he's underrated. Every time I see him go in there and take snaps or go for a drive or two, he drives the ball down the field efficiently and does his job. I was like, this is a serviceable backup. This is a guy that was one of the top draft picks coming out of Oregon. I believe it was Oregon, right? Am I taking that wrong? I might be forgetting that one. Might not be Oregon. But when we look at this type of situation here, What was it?
North Dakota State.
North Dakota State. There we go. I apologize on that one. But like when you look at the situation here, we have a Denver team that is underperformed every time they're a favorite of 7 points or more. They're 1-7 ATS in those situations this year. Actually, 6 points or more, and we have them as a double-digit dog here. It basically egregious line shift because Justin Herbert's not going to be playing. Trey Lance is going to be stepping in, and I think Omarion Hampton is not going to be playing this game, and multiple other starters that haven't been announced yet. Yes, I get it. The Chargers have nothing to play for. However, I think Denver, even with going against a bunch of backups on this one, I think there's going to be resume builders for a lot of this squad, and I think this Charger team is, as much as people think they suck, and I get it. I mean, they suck is proverbial when we're looking at look at them from a full perspective as starter versus starter kind of deal. I think this team has fight in them, and I think as a double-digit dog, this is insulting to the Chargers. I think it's insulting to the coach. I think they are going to fight in this one, and I think Trey Lance is going to build a resume for himself and get himself into a position where nobody's going to deny him a job, whether it is a starter or a backup. If that happens in the future, starter, I think Trey Lance really shows out today versus this Denver team, and this double-digit dog thing is going to be dumb, and I think Denver may fold on themselves, knowing that the implications of them getting a 1 seed may be too much for them. I'm not high on this Denver team right now. I just don't think they're playing well. And mind you, I know the Chargers beat them 23-20 in the first game, 3-point road dogs. Denver was. Now we see them as the favorite here, 13.5. I do think there's fight in this dog, and I lean towards the under on this one at 37.5. First matchup was 46. Different quarterback, though. I don't want to take the total on this one. I do think the Chargers have some fight in them. Give me the plus on the Chargers and see Trey Lance show out. And then you guys, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I do think Trey Lance plays kind of well here today. Let's go to the next game that I don't care about. We can talk about it. But the Kansas City Chiefs are going on the road versus the Las Vegas Raiders. And we could say for the first time in a long time, the Kansas City Chiefs are not going to be in the playoffs. We're not going to see Pat Mahomes. We're not going to see a Chiefs team going to the Super Bowl yet again. We're just seeing two teams looking to put themselves in position for draft picks. I don't know. The Raiders, of course, not going to have their starter as well. I don't even know who the starter is going to be for the Raiders. It could be Kenny Pickett. It could be Aiden O'Connell. I was looking it up this morning, and they were indecisive. But we know who is going to be the quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs. It is Chris Aladukin. That is going to be the quarterback for them. But I have no interest in this game. What do you think about this one, Coach?
Suarez. I'd rather the strip club. Yeah. Here's who's playing quarterback for the Raiders? Who gives a shit, right? So here's the take on this game, right? And by no means should you bet this, right? But Raiders get the number 1 pick with a loss. Kansas City's won 19 out of the last 22 against them. Okay, great. Do you trust this? But the Aladikin, who is from South Dakota State. No, I don't. But anyway, I'll mention one thing, and this is it, and take it for what it's worth. I don't know if you get a prop or something, but Hollywood Brown, if he scores a touchdown,
yes,
gets $750,000.
Yep, anytime.
That's some incentive. I don't know. I just throw it out there. But again, pass on this game. Let's go to the next one.
Yeah, I'm gonna like you said, Hollywood Brown. Yeah, he's one of the incentive guys today. So I think there's going to be targets towards his direction. But it's Chris Aladukin that's going to be throwing the ball to him. So it's a very different scenario here. Of course, maybe Vegas will fight. They lost 31-0 in the first game and just absolutely got smoked in Arrowhead. So you could look at it that way. I have no interest in this one. This is one of those Week 18 games that I say, let's keep it moving. Let's go to Arizona versus the LA Rams in SoFi. Inglewood, California, 425 is going to be the kick on this one. And we have an Arizona team that is on an 8-game losing streak. Got crushed by the Cincinnati Bengals last week, 37-14. And you have a Rams team that can position themselves pretty well in the playoffs. Coming off that loss to Atlanta upset, kind of put them in that position. But I do have takes. I think there's going to be some motivation in this game. What do you think about this one, Coach?
Yeah, I think it's similar to the game in Buffalo. So the Rams get the number 5 seed with a win, which they want the 5 seed because you're going to end up playing either Tampa Bay or Carolina, which is, much more favorable than the alternative. So, I mean, is there any way, shape, or form where you like the Cardinals here? I don't think so. What are they, 0-8 in their last 8 games, I think, and they've lost 8 since Brissett took over as QB. It's funny. I remember saying that Arizona was better off with Brissett at quarterback instead of Kyler Murray, which I think they were, but it didn't help. Didn't help them in the win column. Anyway, I think it's like Buffalo. So I think this is, again, the perfect script for the Rams is to get up early so that, they can take Matthew Stafford and some of these other guys out of the game late. That said, again, I looked at the first half, I looked at the first quarter, but those I don't like those numbers. So, maybe you find a way to parlay the Rams first half money line. Maybe with the Bills first half money line, something like that. But I'm not on. I haven't gotten anywhere with this game yet, just because I'm not a fan of the number. Plus, again, like I said, the perfect script is the Rams up early and get out so they can rest some guys. The other thing I would take a look at, and I don't know, maybe you did, Trey McBride for the Cardinals. Like, the dude's just a stud. So his receiving yards and receptions prop, like he's the guy. Like if Brissett needs somebody, like that's where he's going. So maybe you have a take on that. But other than that, it's a Rams first half something, but you got to parlay it, I think.
I see Tommy Turnbuckle saying he likes Jacoby Brissett over on his passing yards. I think that has some validity to it. Yeah. I think these two teams fight. I really do think there's going to be fight and there's going to be offense in this game. I think the Rams have to show some sort of production after losing to Atlanta the way they did. Even though they did lose that game, they were moving the ball efficiently in the second half and really getting themselves back into a game where they had the worst first half ever. Matt Stafford, always a little bit wishy-washy in some situations. We saw it against Carolina. We saw it against Atlanta. I guess he has the we call the NFC South flu when he goes against them. Largest dog spread of the year here for Arizona. The over is 5-1 when they are a dog of 7 or more. So that is something to look at. And Arizona is giving up 37 points per game when they're in those situations as a dog of 7 or more. That's why I like the team total here for the LA Rams in this type of situation. The Rams have something to play for. Like I said, they're playing for seeding. If they do get this win, they have a favorable wild card matchup either against Carolina Panthers or the Tampa Bay Bucks on the road. I think they want that game. And that is situational play. Get to that wild card game, maybe potentially get that win on the road, and then they can go to the next one and really get prepared, ready to this one. You got to put yourself in situations in the playoffs that will give you W's. And I think they are really enticed to get over that seeding of the San Francisco 49ers, knowing they lost on Saturday. And then you have the Rams that are 6-2 ATS at home this year, and they average 28.6 points per game at home. They're also 5-0 to the over in their last 5 games, 4-1 to the over as a favorite of 7 points or more. So, yes, overs all the way. I know a lot of people are saying team total under. I saw Soar say that in the chat, and he said Rams first half. I'm seeing a lot of first half team totals. I don't hate that either. But I think this is going to be more of an over-esque type of game, knowing that Brissett will still play and want to take out a divisional opponent. And I think Stafford will kind of step up coming off that loss, actually back-to-back losses for that matter. And they're going to want to put themselves in a seating where they can have a good position to make a run in the playoffs. I do think this Rams team is in a position to make a NFC championship run, but they have to get themselves playoff positioned. And I think this game is going to be a sample size of that one. So yeah, give me the Ram. I don't want to take the side, of course. I want to take the overs every which way with the Rams. So that's how I'm going to be playing this one. You can tell me first half team total over, and then you tell me full team total over. That's how I'm going to be playing this one. All right, next game on the board. Let's talk about my New England Patriots going against Miami in Gillette Stadium where it's cold, and you know how Miami does in the cold at Foxborough, Mass. 425 is the kick on this one. Yes, we were talking about this in the group chat last night, and I think if you were in the group chat, you know where I'm going to be going with this one. This Patriots team is 13-3 and vying for the number one seed, so they have seeding implications. They want to get to that bye. Of course, Miami has nothing to play for, 7-9, but they're 5-2 straight up in their last 7 games. What do you think about this one, Coach?
The word dick stomp comes to mind.
Or belt ass.
Yeah. Miami's played a little bit better recently, but sorry, and again, it's a cold weather game. You alluded to it. I think I don't think they've won a cold weather game, and I think they've lost 13 or 14 in a row in situations where the temperature is 40 degrees or less. And Mike McDaniel has never won a game in this type of situation. So New England, like you mentioned, still has a shot at the number one seed. All they have to do is win, which I think they do. Where's the value at and how do we attack it? I think it's a spot where you number one, you look at the Patriots team total. There's Suarez saying it right now. Patriots team total over. I think I saw 29.5. They've done that 3 of their last 4 games. Drake May's a stud, obviously. I think Tommy Turnbuckle mentioned something about his passing yards. That's worth a look.
Yeah,
maybe Gunz, you might have something on that. But the other one for me, it's team total, and you got to take a look at the first half. And I know the number's 6.5. You can get 6.5 in the first half, but New England is 12-3-1 against the spread in the first half. And they start well. They lead the NFL in first half points. I think they're a little over 17 points in the first half. So there's another one. Nicole Pat's first half team total over. I don't know what the number is, but yeah, I could get behind that for sure. Miami's defense, they played. They played well last week, but it was Tampa Bay. Come on. But they still give up 24, 25 points a game. So I think this is just a simple, they're getting shredded. But if you're going to do anything, it's Patriots team total over, and take a look at the Patriots first half against the spread.
Yeah, forgive me. I keep calling him Suarez. It's Suarez, but he had a good prop on this game, and I think it's available on DraftKings. Official over 3.5 years in jail there for a Diggs. I think it's available with juice on DraftKings. But let's talk about this game, and I think the first half is the best look on this one. If you look at the last, I think it's the last 8 games there for the New England Patriots, 20.6 points per game they've averaged in the first half, leading by a margin of 11.8 points per game. Last 8 games, that is what the Patriots have done. And you see the line weighted towards the first half side, which has validity. You have a New England Patriots team that has something to play for. They're playing for that first round bye. All they can do is win the game and hope Denver loses. But 60% of the game line is weighted towards the first half. We're seeing 7.5. We're watching that line climb up to, I think it was 12.5 this morning. I saw 13.5 before we did the show. But this New England team will try, and they will go and they'll come out swinging there in the first half against a Miami team that is just trying to get back to Florida so they can play golf. It is way too cold in Foxborough this time of year. I've been there. It's windy. It sucks. And it is, especially when you're watching that last game of the year. I've been there. I've been at the last game of the year, and I watched guys get their bonuses. I watched Corey Dillon get his bonus when they won the Super Bowl. I forget what year that was. That was the last time I've been to Foxborough. But yeah, this is going to be a cold game, and this is going to be New England all day long. Give me the MVP, Drake May, to get it done here. New England, -7.5 first half is the way I'm going to play this one. All right. Next game. This game sucks. I hate it. NFC East. I think Bernsey agrees with these two teams. We got the Washington Commanders going to play the Philadelphia Eagles in the link in Philadelphia, PA. 425 is going to be kicked. I don't think Philly really wants to hurt people. I think Sirianni is probably going to be giving guys limited reps in this game, and then he's going to pull the starters, and we're going to be looking at backups at the end. Maybe there was some, and I looked to see if there was props on this game before the show. I don't know if they're there now. Nothing. Nobody, like, the books aren't even giving props on this game, so it tells you this game is meaningless at 425. Might not even make one of my screens as I'm watching the 425 slate. But I'll pass it to you, Coach. What do you think?
Best bet in this game is the over/under on the number of batteries that will be thrown during the game, or glass bottles, whatever.
Yes.
I mean, it's Philly, right?
Yes.
Yeah, this game's a turd, man. And you mentioned it. You took the words right out of my mouth. Like, I would have thought, guys are going to sit. Maybe you take a look at a Tanner McKee prop, or the one I really liked was Bigsby, because Barkley's going to be.
I was looking for Bigsby prop.
Yeah, but you can't find it. They're not out there. So somebody mentioned Bigsby AT. Oh, Tommy Turnbuckle, Tank Bigsby ATD.
You can get anytime touchdowns with Bigsby. That is correct. If you go look at that,
yeah.
Give you that.
Correct. Yeah, you can find that. Yeah, so that's not that. That's probably that. I don't mind that. Sprinkle a little bit on it, but yeah, next.
Yeah, next. The batteries, or is Santa Claus going to be at this game? Is he throw stuff at Santa Claus, like snowballs filled with batteries, that type of game? I don't know. This would feel a little bit more enticing if it was like Philadelphia and Dallas, but like the Commanders versus Philly, these guys are, Philly has stuff to play for, and I know that Saquon Barkley does have, if he gets 86 yards, he gets a bonus on this one. But if you know anything about Saquon Barkley, he doesn't really care about stats, and he'd rather just he wants to win games, and he's looking towards he's the guy that sat when he could have broke the rushing record. I think single season rushing record or something like that. And he said, no, just put in the other guys. We're looking towards the championship, and lo and behold, the Eagles won the championship. So I wouldn't take anything prop wise with Saquon today. But Tank Bigsby, if you can find props on him on attempts or rushing yards, or I think Turnbuckle said anytime touchdown, that's the way I'd like to play this one. And I don't. It's going to feel like a preseason game at the end of the day, and it's, like I said, not going to make my TV. But there is going to be a game that's going to make my TV tonight, and it is going to be the Baltimore Ravens going on the road to Acrisure Stadium to play the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yes, Coach is wearing the hat. He is residing in PA, and I'm sure he is going to be attentively watching and not blinking during this game. But I'll pass it to you, Coach. I'm in the playoffs. Are you in the playoffs?
We're not there yet. We're not there yet. So, I mean, my top play is going to be from this game. So of course, we're not going to give that out. But I probably will have more plays than I've had over the last few weeks this week. And if you're looking for, my best bet, which is going to come from this game, I'll take care of that right now. You can get today's best bet plus anything else that I put out there today. All Sports Day Pass, $49. You must profit, or you get one week of all my best bets for free. We've been killing college basketball, which, we'll talk about that another day.
Unreal.
And of course, both Gunz and I have been killing college football too, and we got games coming up. So, So either, like I always say, you can win now, or you can win later. Because if you don't profit, you're going to get a whole week of picks. So anyway, everybody knows the narratives here. Everybody knows it, right? Mike Tomlin is a dog. The underdog in this series. Tomlin as an underdog against the Ravens. Like we all get that, right? we also know that this game is typically close. So if you go back like 5 or 6 years, I think it's the last 12 games, you've got only 2 games that were, the margin of victory was over 7. And then if you take it down even further, I think 8 out of the last 12 are 5 points or less as a margin of victory. So take that for what it's worth. Take this for what it's worth too. Lamar Jackson, when they announced that he was going to start against Pittsburgh, I'll tell you that I liked that. Again, not trying to give away anything, but I like the fact that Lamar Jackson's going to start against Pittsburgh, because in his career he's only 3-5. He has 3 wins against Pittsburgh in 8 games. I believe they only covered 2 of those. So, again, I'm not giving it away, right? However, you want to look at Pittsburgh, and everybody's going to say, well, there's no DK Metcalf. They're not going to be able to throw the ball downfield. Okay, well, yeah. I mean, they played Cleveland. They went to Cleveland. They play in a spot where Cleveland plays well in defense, blah, blah, blah. They didn't have DK, and their offense sucked. They were terrible. Okay, that's fine. I get it. Coming off a loss, and now, you're playing a game that you have to win to get into the playoffs. I'm a big believer in Mike Tomlin. All the Pittsburgh people that want to, motherfuck him and say he sucks and we need a new guy, which has never had a freaking winning season. But anyway, I'll mention this too, just because I should, and maybe you can figure it out. But Pittsburgh, like New England, is one of the better first half teams in the NFL. They're 12-4 against first half spread. Just saying. Yep. And if you want to break it down even further, they're 10-6 against the first quarter spread. Playing at home, take a look at the number and see what it is. And then I mentioned a stat last week. I don't know if anybody remembers, but Pittsburgh, like I said, they've covered the first quarter 10 out of 16 games this year. And I think if you go back to last year, I think they're like 60 to 70% cover rate in the first quarter. But they don't score a lot of points in the first quarter. They haven't scored more than 7 points in the first quarter in like 60-plus games, which is unbelievable. But what that tells you is this. The defense is there. Like, you can talk about how they give up yards and they give up points and blah, blah, blah. And I know they've had some games where they've been terrible defensively. But they've been without some guys, mainly T.J. Watt. And I believe he's going to play today. So, yeah. And then the other thing you have to look at, like, what's Baltimore going to do? Baltimore's going to run the ball, right? Derrick Henry. We're going to feed the ball to the king. I'll throw this out there because I should. But Pittsburgh, over the last 4 weeks, their success rate against the run, opponent success rate is 31% when they run the football. So their run defense is, and I think they're 11th in DVOA overall in defense. So defensively, they've been okay. I think they get a little bit better today with T.J. Watt on the field. That said, like I can't give you my best bet, and I'll I'll leave it at that. I'll let you take over because I'll want to spill everything.
Yeah, I see a lot of people saying I'm a Steelers hater. If I was a Steelers hater, why would I have this button? Oh, that ain't it.
Nope.
All right, I can't find it. I used to have it. I used to have it. Here we go for the Steelers.
Yeah, here we go, Steelers. Here we go.
No, it was here we go. Boom, 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 no. Here we go. Steelers. Yep. Here we go. Pittsburgh going to the Super Bowl. That's a great song. But what I will say about this game is I don't know if I'm going to be on a side on this one because we have arguments on both sides. And yes, Baltimore has struggled against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and you have Pittsburgh coming off that loss against the Cleveland Browns. It could be a little bit of bounce back factor, or it could be you lose the same game twice with Pittsburgh going into this game. Baltimore, are they playing great football right now? They're limping into this situation, getting reluctant to get a spot where they should have beaten the New England Patriots, but my New England Patriots are a little bit too strong for them. But I think the rushing props are going to be something enticing with Derrick Henry in this situation. Rushing attempts, I think they're going to take advantage of a team that gave up 249 yards to Buffalo. They gave up 217 rushing when the last time they played Baltimore.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to take advantage of this one and maybe some rushing prop or rushing attempts there with Lamar Jackson if he does play. But even if he doesn't play, I think Tyler Huntley is going to do a good enough job to kind of run and operate that offense. And I haven't got there like officially like on side and total in this one. This is going to be something that I'm going to like recap for the VIPs, and I'll give you some takes on this one. But like the rushing props are enticing to me, knowing that the last 3 games they've held this Pittsburgh team has held their opponents under 100 yards rushing in 3 straight games. But I think this is very different when you're playing Baltimore that wants to take advantage of the run, and Derrick Henry's just playing out of his mind right now. We saw him against the Green Bay Packers, and I think that could be something that they take advantage of. And then when you have Lamar Jackson in there, he could run too. Not saying I know the outcome of this game per se, but man, this is going to be just a great end to the regular season between these two teams. A staple of what the NFL has been for like, I would say the last like 15, 20 years is like the AFC North between Pittsburgh and Baltimore has just been great. And we're going to see it come to fruition with these two teams. But yes, we broke down the entire board. Is there a Monday Night Football game? Absolutely not. So you're not going to get any of that. But if you're watching this video right now or later or whenever, you need to like and subscribe. I see 452 of you beautiful bastards watching this either on YouTube or on X. Please like and subscribe to the J Cavalier channel and drop a comment as well. All the plays that we gave out here for absolutely free. You can tell us you like it, you love it, and also check out our Telegram. Check out my Telegram. Link is right there. You can go click into there, join, follow. Listen, I like college football, like in college basketball. I've been dropping free plays. I was on a 7-game win streak on the free plays on my Telegram channel until the Seattle team total over went to the proverbial crapper, and we just keep moving on. But listen, a little bit of a free play run, and of course I'll have some deals on my channel, including college basketball right now. I got on sale for the rest of the season. January, February, March are my months in college basketball. So go join for $4.99 right now. I'm going to leave that up for a week so you guys can get on that one. And of course, my season all sports sale is $9.99 right now if you want to go jump on that one. And of course, Coach Rick, what do you got going on at Why Lose?
Yeah, I mentioned the All Sports Day Pass. I just think that's the best value at $49. I do have a college basketball day pass as well. It's the same deal, and you have to profit or you get 1 week free. Very soon, I will release a couple other college basketball specials. And you're going to want to get in on those. You know, like Gunz said, both of us. I mean, we just we got our finger on the pulse of college sports.
Yep, absolutely. And we're talking, and we're going to close this out with best bets. Let's go.
Video.
And I see Victory Pick says you're going to drop a D-Gen parlay for us, Coach or Gunz. I will drop one. I don't like sides today. That's the problem. And usually I need money lines to enjoy the sides, and this week 18 is going to be tough. But I'll put some small one in on Telegram. That's why you join my Telegram to get some free picks on that one. But Coach, what do you like? Best bets?
Best bet. Yeah. Full season with it. Yeah, yeah, Barry mentioned it. Full season with this. That's coming. Yeah. So pay attention for that. It's coming soon. We've been working on it behind the scenes. Best bet today, for me, Dallas, I think they just go off. I think that's a high scoring game, number one. But I like Dallas's team total over. Like I said earlier, 26.5. I don't know if it's moved yet, but they average 28 points a game. They've gone over that 9 out of 16. Giants defense is nothing special. And they've owned New York in that series. So Dallas team total over 26.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a prop gun type of play because we're going to be delving into props, and I'm going to go with my guy, my man from the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, Audric Estime. We're going to take him over in his rushing attempts. We're going to take him over on his rushing yards. He's going to have himself a game versus the Atlanta Falcons that have the 26th ranked rushing defense, and he is going to be the main back today because Alvin Kamara is not going to be playing in this one, and that dude is a downhill runner. He has electric speed, and we're going to see him have his resume day with the New Orleans Saints against the Atlanta Falcons. So give me everything over there with Audric Estime. But yes, we're going to close it out. That is the regular season, folks. We'll be back with some playoff action. Don't you fret, my pet. And we're going to give you some college football action with me and Coach Rick. We're going to break down the semifinals later in the week. So this is why you need to join the J.A. Cavalier channel and subscribe and hit the like and comment on the videos and support what we are doing here at Why Lose. And go check out our telegrams. If you don't have the links, well, they can be dropped in the comment section below. So you can go check that out. We have some gun disciples in the chat, including Barry, and we have some coach disciples here as always as well. So we got disciples everywhere. But that's going to do it here for Week 18 version of the Player Performance NFL edition. I am Gunz. That is Coach Rick. Let's cash some tickets. Let's dominate the board. And as always, Coach,
Giddy up.
And let's keep dancing. Bang!
Cut my life into pieces. This is my last resort.